Your brand values are the core principles that guide your business decisions. Maybe you've never taken the time to sit down and think, what are my core beliefs? What are the things that at our core, this is who we are? And thinking about those things and understanding them will help you communicate who you are to your customers. A lot of business owners we come in contact with never have taken the time to sit down and think, who am I selling to? What are my brand's unique selling points? That thing that makes you different. Double down on that.
So my name is Bethany Kviz and I'm the creative director here. I have been immersed in the world of marketing for the past 7 years, and I have worked with small business owners and some really big corporations like Dow. And there are a few things that I have learned along the way, and one of those things is that marketing is always changing. Nothing in marketing, besides two things, stays the same. And I say that because marketing is revolved around a lot of variables. It's things like different apps that are coming out. We're talking about the different trends, the way people are spending their money. We have to pay attention to all of those things in order to market correctly. Now, when I say that there are two things that stay consistent in marketing, I say that because it's brand consistency and storytelling. These are things that have been around in marketing for so long, and it has been proven that they help the success of your business. And I actually will have some facts on that, so you don't have to just take my word for it. We're going to prove it. But brand consistency, if you have been to any of our marketing meetups or sat down with any of us, you will learn that we are huge on brand consistency because it helps your brand get recognized. You have to have a logo, and you have to have brand colors, and you have to talk to your clients the way that you want them to perceive your brand. And if you stay consistent with that, you're going to become recognizable. And that's one of the biggest things that you can be when you want to reach out to your clientele. Now, storytelling is obviously one of those things that has been around for thousands and thousands of years. It's a way that people communicate to their peers, and it's a way that they kind of engage everybody, and we live a story every single day. We tell stories every single day. Everything that we do, honestly, is around storytelling, and you probably don't even realize it. And so that brings me to some facts to kind of back up why I think those two things are very important in branding and why they do stay consistent. So brand consistency, that can increase your revenue by 10 to 20%. That is huge. Your brand colors, that is something that people like to get. You know, I have a logo. Why do I need to have colors to go along with it? It's kind of something people like to forget about. But consumers are 81% more likely to recall your brand color than your brand name. Now that is a huge, huge statistic. And the reason for that is that 90% of information transmitted to the brain is visual. So like I said, all of those things are so important, especially when they come together, because it's going to help your brand excel. A perfect example of this, whether you love them or you hate them, you definitely know them, it's Starbucks. When you think of Starbucks, you immediately know, oh, okay, we got Casey back here. He's going to help my situation here. When you see this color green, whether it is on a cap that says Starbucks huge, you automatically think Starbucks. And you might not even know what this logo is, because I'm going to be honest, I don't. But you know it's Starbucks, and that's all that matters. And Starbucks has their brand consistency down packed. But what's so important about that is, say I get a cup of coffee. So I go to get a cup of coffee from Starbucks, and I loved it. I thought it was so good. Well, next time I go get a cup of coffee, I'm going to want to find that wherever I am. So when I see that green, it's going to immediately come into my mind, and I'm going to know, I know that was a good cup of coffee. And on top of that, when a holiday comes around and they got new drinks out, I'm going to want to go try it because I recognize that they had a good coffee the first time, and now I'm starting to trust the brand because I keep seeing that color, keep seeing their logo and the way that they advertise, and it really helps me want to come back. Now, on to storytelling. 81% of consumers say they need to be able to trust the brand in order to buy from them. And what does that mean with storytelling? Well, how are you going to get these people to trust you? You can't just say, hey, I'm a good brand, trust me. And you can, maybe it will work, but most of the time you have to teach them to trust you. And that's why story is so important, because you're not just coming out and saying, trust me. You are saying, hey, these are some of the things that are gonna help you. I'm gonna put you into the story, and when I do that, you're gonna come to this conclusion all by yourself. And then storytelling can boost conversion rates by 30%. You're starting a conversation with the people that you are communicating with. And obviously, boosting conversion rates means more money coming into you and your business. Okay, so now, before I get into StoryBrand specifically, I wanna make a note that there are a lot of ways to tell a story. You can take your brand and you can talk about the history of your brand. You can talk about how you started it. You can talk about why you started it. Those are all good marketing tools, and those are things that you should still use. But what we're gonna talk about today, very specifically, is StoryBrand. And what that is, this guy named Donald Miller, he created StoryBrand when he was looking into all of these different movies and books, and he learned that there's a pattern. When I'm watching these movies, they're all kind of following the same storyline in very different ways. And when I say that, I mean, we always have a character or two, and they always happen to have an issue, and then somebody comes along and kind of helps them, and they give them some advice, and in the end, it ends in a big success or a big failure. And once you learn this framework, you are gonna watch movies, and you're gonna read these books, and you're gonna think about them so differently. Because you're gonna, and I will get to it in the next slide, but you're gonna start to recognize the pattern of the framework, and it's crazy how so many things follow it, but they follow it because it works. It's engaging. It's gonna bring in the audience, and that is why Donald Miller said, okay, well, if they're doing this for movies, why can't I do this for branding? And that's where the beauty was born. Okay, so we have the StoryBrand framework. Like I said, so how many of you guys watch movies? I'm gonna assume everybody. How many of you guys like to read? Figure might be a little less. I don't like to read. As much as I try, I do not like to read. Okay, well, what's someone's favorite movie? Anybody? Toy Story. That's a fantastic one. I was hoping it was one I knew because this was gonna fall flat if I didn't. No, I do. I said I'm glad it's something I do know. Okay, what's yours? Okay, that one. Star Wars. Ooh, that one's a good one to go off of. I don't know the characters. I've never seen Star Wars. But I know most of the characters in it. Okay, so we have, in Star Wars, if you think about how the movie is all built out, you have this character, and he has a really big problem. And how is he ever gonna solve this problem? Well, he meets a guide. There's a couple of them. Yoda's one of them. And Yoda helps him. He gives him a plan. And one thing that's really nice about that is that the plan that he gives him, he is not telling him exactly what he needs to do. He's helping him figure it out. And then he takes that plan. He has to get called to action because he has to defeat Darth Vader or someone like that, and then all of these things. But when you start to think about it, so many movies are built like this. So I'm going to give you a better example that I know more, and that is The Lion King. So it kind of goes along with Toy Story. I think this is one that's everybody, I'm assuming, who's seen this movie? Okay, we got a couple. He didn't raise his hand. I don't know if he's just, there we go. Okay, The Lion King. So we have a character, Simba, and you're introduced to him immediately. And he has a big problem. He learns that he should be king, and somebody else has taken over, and all of these awful things come to light in his mind, and he learns he needs to reclaim this kingdom. But he doesn't know how. How is he ever gonna figure this out? Well, we introduce our guide. This one actually has a couple guides. You have Rafiki, and then you have his father, Mufasa, who comes in and out. But once again, they don't tell him exactly what he needs, but they give him a plan on how to move forward. What do you need to get this going? How do we beat this? And so they kind of set him up for him to understand what he has to do. And then you have to call them to action. You can't just have a problem and then someone says, well, hey, you should do this, and then we do nothing. Your problem's not gonna go away. So we have the guide who gave us the plan, and now we are called to action. Well, in The Lion King, the action is you gotta remember who you are. You have to take responsibility. This is our pride. This is for our family. This is for everybody. And so it's kind of, the action is, I gotta do this for my family. And he gets all pumped up, he's excited, he goes in action, he has to confront Scar, and then in the end, it ends up in success. But what's really cool about, and this is a lot easier when you have a movie, but what's really cool about movies is that you can see what would happen if he didn't take the action. So throughout the entire movie, you have little glimpses of how Scar would run the kingdom, and it's falling apart and it's dying. So you're seeing the failure, which is also very important, because without failure, you would not want to take the action to success. So that's a great example for the Lion King. But what does that have anything to do with marketing? Like, why would I need this story in my marketing, in my branding strategy? Well, I'm going to tell you why. In the next slide, we're going to talk about Amazon. Amazon is a perfect example in a broad sense and in a targeted sense. So we're going to talk about it first in a broad sense. I'm going to walk you through why it works as a framework and how they use it. And then I'm going to come in a little bit tighter with it, and we're going to do a specific character that is targeting a specific type of audience. So StoryBrand framework for Amazon. Our character is the shopper. It's very general. We're talking about millions of people here. They have a problem. Their problem is, we need a product. And Amazon comes in as the guide. Hey, we've got millions of products, but on top of that, we're going to give you a plan. Our plan is, we're going to enhance your shopping experience. We're going to offer Amazon Prime. You're going to get that in 2 days. We're going to offer you all of these reviews for you to look through. That's the plan that's presented. That's what brings them in. And then that call to action is, we want you to make a purchase. This doesn't work unless you make that purchase. And in the end, you have that success of a seamless shopping experience. And then on the other hand, if you don't go through them, well, you didn't get all those options. You didn't get 2-day shipping, a lot of things that are so on a failure. But I'm going to bring it in just a little bit more, because that's super, super broad. But that's just kind of to give you, take it back one. Take it back now, y'all. Okay. I'm going to go down where our character is more specific. So let's say I'm a teenage girl. Some of us were teenage girls once, right? So what kind of a problem would a teenage girl have? Anybody? There's so many. We can clothes, finding clothes. Okay, so let's say teenage girl, her name is Stacy. She's going on a date, and she needs clothes in 3 days. She's got only a couple days to get this done. And so her problem is, I don't have an outfit for this date. I'm so excited, but I gotta look good. Well, enter Amazon. This is our guide. I'm here to help you. But the plan that Amazon gives, this is a little bit more curated. So you've been on Amazon before. Well, Amazon will bring up suggestions based on what you've already searched. So now there's a whole closet curated to what you have already liked. And it's gonna make her shopping experience even easier. And on top of that, you're gonna get it in 2 days. And on top of that, you're gonna be able to compare products and see people in these clothes. And that is the sell. That's why Amazon is so successful. Okay, so great, we did all the things, we have everything in our cart. Well, now we gotta call them to action. You gotta purchase this for this to work. And once they purchase it, you end in a success. And can someone tell me what the success is?
She looks fly.
She's got a cute outfit for the day, and she didn't have to panic, she didn't sweat it out at all. So the story is, Amazon's there for you when you need them, right? We are going to show you actually an example of this. It has nothing to do with a teenage girl. It's actually very opposite of that. But I want you guys to watch this. We're going to show a commercial. I want you guys to watch this commercial, and then I'm going to ask you who you guys think the character is. We're going to run through it, and you're going to see why this is such a seamless. I mean, they tell a story so simply. Yeah, it's so complex, and you're pulled in immediately. You're like, wow, this is a great story that now I'm compelled to go use Amazon. So we're going to use that example. It doesn't get better than that, right? Nothing better than old ladies tear at the heartstrings. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to decide who's the character in the situation. Who is the character? Who is the character in the situation? The three old ladies. And that's a good point because it doesn't have to just be one person. It can be three people. Sometimes you watch a movie and there's multiple main characters, but they have to have a common interest for it to be more than one character. Okay, so we have three old ladies. What is their problem? They want to go sledding. They do not have the tools to go sledding because they may need a few extra things to do it these days. Okay, so this one's obvious, but who is our guide? Amazon. All right, and Amazon comes in and they offer the joyride. You get the joyride because we are going to get you a product that you need in 2 days so you can still enjoy what's going on while it's still cold out. You don't have to wait for it. It's going to be at your doorstep in 2 days and you can go on and you can live life. So obviously the success of this one is you get to live life like you were a kid again because we gave you a product that lets that happen. Another example that we're going to do, we're going to go to the next slide. It's also a commercial. This time I'm going to also have you guys watch it. And then we're going to try to say, this one might be a little bit harder to understand, but we're going to go through who the character is, what their problem is, and I'm going to tell you why this one specifically is so good. So good. We tried Okay, so who's the character? The dad or grandpa. This one is fantastic because it does it, and it's targeting two people. It's the person, it's the helper, it's the person who wants to provide a warm meal, and it's the person who doesn't get a warm meal. So it's kind of a twofold, which is brilliant, right? Okay, so what is our problem here, though? He's missing family dinner. He is missing family dinner. How unfair that everyone else gets to sit at the dinner table and have a warm meal, but I have to be out working, providing for my family. Okay, so then we meet a guide, and our guide is? It's Yeti. Yeti steps in, and they are like, hey, what do we have? What's our plan? We can keep your meal hot for you. We can. Yes, insulation. But guess what? You got that, and they didn't have to say it one time. That is the beauty of this one, and actually the Amazon one does it too. They don't say, hey, this is our product, and it has insulation, and it is this size, and it can do this, and it can do this. We're not saying all those things. We don't have to say those things. We're evoking an emotion to get people excited. Now I watch that, I'm like, holy smoke, I'm gonna go get one of those things. My boyfriend is a farmer, my dad's a farmer, and I'm gonna go feed them with that Yeti. Like, you get that emotion, and you have that connection with it. And that's the most important thing about StoryBrand. You don't have to tell your services. We had some people, when we were talking about social media, that people came in here and we're like, so why are you not posting on social media more? And people are like, well, I'm scared to put myself out there. I don't want to brag about what I do. I don't want it to come off the wrong way. I don't want to boast about it. Well, the best part about StoryBrand and the most important part about StoryBrand, it's not about your company. It's about the customer. Your customer is always the hero of the story. You need them to be immersed into the life that you can provide them. That's really the most important thing. And, like Yeti, they didn't have to say it one time. And the beauty of that, too, is that I don't have to go out there and I don't have to say, hey, I'm really, really good at doing this, this, and this. This is my service, this is my service, and this is my service. I just say, hey, I'm going to show you this life that you could have if you use my service. And then it's going to bring people to come in because as much as we don't want to admit it, we don't want someone to tell us what to do. We want to come to it on our own terms. And so when you put the character, when you put your customer as the hero, you're doing that. You're letting them make the decision. And also you're building trust because once again, I'm not in your face selling. I'm making you feel an emotion. So we are also going to give you a couple other examples. These two are huge corporations who have millions and millions of dollars. They have an established brand, and they can pay the biggest and the best company to do these videos for them. Well, we don't always have that, and that can be extremely intimidating. But the best part about StoryBrand Framework is it works for every kind of company. just starting out, no matter how big you are, no matter how established you are, you just have to hone in on who the character is and what their problem is for it to work for you. So we're actually going to give you an example of some people right here in Owasso. Success Group. You guys, I'm sure many of you know who that is. Maybe you've used them before. They came to us a little bit ago and they said, hey, we want to vamp up our social media. And so we sat down and we thought, what can we do to kind of lure them forward and we can bring in their customers? Well, this is a perfect example because the last two we showed you were movies. Those are commercials. Those are all video. It doesn't have to be a video to be StoryBrand. Our messaging is StoryBrand. What we put on our website, the way we put things out on social media, that is all StoryBrand as well. So it doesn't have to be a 1-minute video that you can't afford. Or maybe it's a 1-minute video and you don't even know where to start. That's why this works, is because you can do it for so many different platforms. So Success Group, their main character is somebody who wants to buy a home. I want to buy a home, but I don't know where to start. My problem is that I don't know if I have enough money. I don't know if I can get pre-approved. I don't even know the first step in buying a house. Okay, we'll enter our guide, Success Group. They give you a plan. They say, hey, we've helped so many people just like you. We have done this. We have all of the skills and services you need to help get you to that next step so you can have your dream home. So once we have our plan, we have to get them into action. And obviously that action is call today to get pre-approved, make a meeting. We want to put an action to it because we are not going to just pick up a phone if we don't have to. We have to be called to action. It is proven that when you have a CTA on your website or in a social media post, that you are more likely to click on it and actually engage with that business. And so I'm going to back it up just a little bit. We wanted to create a message that screams success to these people. Because when you see this, so we ended up coming up with Unlock Your Dream Home, pre-approval starts here. We are telling you nothing about what we do other than pre-approvals, but we are not listing our services. We're not telling you our business hours. We're not saying anything other than, look at this life you could have. If you come to us, we can help you get to that dream home. And so you're painting a picture of them living their life. This is where they could be if they come use our service. And that's why it's called StoryBrand, because I am telling a story. This couple just got married and they want to move into a new home, but they don't know how to get to the home. But all they can see, they see this couple, they see these lifestyle photography, and they're like, that could be me. That could be our life if I come to you. If I use you guys are going to help me get there. And on top of that, we're also going to use testimonials. These are people who have already worked with them, already had the success story, already have their dream home. And so we're going to utilize the people who have already been with us, who trust us, who love us, and make sure that they can spread the word for us. And once again, we don't have to be the ones doing it. We're using our resources to make sure that that message gets out there. And then we're going to go to another example. She doesn't even know we have this fully up here. She didn't even know it was coming up. But Sarah is somebody who has come to our marketing meetups. I don't know if she's even missed one. Sarah, say hi. She has many, many times said, I am a hairdresser, and I know that I really, really, really want to do hair for blondes, and I want to give blowouts. So we know that this is her niche market. We have a character. The character is blondes. It's so easy because I know who my target audience is, and that's who I want to be my hero. The person that I want to come into my business, that's my hero. So she wants blondes. I want to make sure that I can make blondes feel beautiful. But what do blondes have? So there's a lot of blondes out here. What is an issue with having blonde hair? The upkeep, okay? Something else? Damage, dry. Having blonde hair is hard, especially when you're not naturally blonde, okay? It's hard. We struggle to keep our hair feeling silky and shiny, and so we have damage. We have dead hair. Our problem is we don't know how to fix this issue. And then we insert our guide, our blonde expert. She is going to come in. She has a plan. Hey, I have this service. I'm going to provide a service tailored to you and your hair. I am experienced with blonde hair. I can do this because I've done it before. And people always, they come to me because I'm an expert. That's why they do it. And then we want to call them to action. So obviously we need to book an appointment. That is part of your messaging, or if you're on your website, you want it to be your CTA, kind of what we just talked about. And that ends in a success. You have beautiful blonde hair that's shiny and back to life, and now I have confidence to take on the world. That is the success. The failure, we are helping you avoid the failure of, well, I didn't go to her, and so my hair's still damaged. I don't really feel that great about myself. I hate getting my hair done, all of these things. So what we want to do is paint a picture of what their life could be if they use our services, our products. We want them to feel like we are there for them. It's not about your brand, it's not about your business, it's not what you offer altogether, but it's about your customer and what they need. So you really got to think about who is your ideal customer and what is their biggest problem that you solve. Now, one thing I do want to do, because we showed a couple examples now, I want to break this down, and I'm just curious. Back one. Okay. Keep it there. I'm just curious if anybody has any ideas for what kind of messaging Sarah could do, or maybe what kind of photos she should be putting out there to bring in the right person.
I think about this all the time as a blonde, and I think that it's super hard to have blonde hair and the upkeep and what products to use and how to keep it healthy. And that is super, like, if I have a hairdresser that's giving me that knowledge on her content, I'm absolutely going to her because I know she knows how to do it.
Yes, that is absolutely awesome. So what kind of photos would you want to see?
The product that she uses after she's done coloring in a blonde,
Yep.
and why she uses it.
So StoryBrand is the long game too sometimes. It's kind of how you can, so it's great to think about it when you're using in terms of social media. I can make multiple posts that revolve around StoryBrand. And I can say, I can message everything where my products that I have. So we're continuing to talk about Sarah. So maybe she has hair products that are going to help you, and she puts some tips on there. That's a great way to do it. And so that's just one post. But if we keep doing that with different things, maybe we're posting pictures of the final product, a really happy client who can run her fingers through her hair because it's so silky smooth. Those are all really big things. And you had your hand up right here. What was one of your ideas?
I was gonna say maybe like the blonde waking up and liking their hair as soon as they wake up, and then putting in like a morning product.
It's beautiful. That's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. Because like everybody we all want to feel good. We all want to look good. And so you want to sell that message. And one thing that's really important about this, we're not making things up. We're selling our brand truthfully. Like I have to actually be able to offer that service. I have to actually be able to do that. And so I'm not just making up, oh, look at how beautiful this blonde hair is, and I'm pulling someone off the internet, and I'm not actually experiencing this. I want to use, as much as possible, I want to use real life pictures, and I want to portray something I can actually do, because how disappointing and how untrusting is it when you advertise something you can't do. So we're not just making up stories. We are making up stories that revolve around what we can offer. Okay, so anybody else have any good examples for that?
Maybe like the reveal of their hair, so they don't see their hair getting done until it's finally done, and then spinning them around in the chair and letting them see it.
Yes, I love that. And something too is your messaging, the verbiage that you use is very important, because a perfect example, actually, we've been working really hard in our business to kind of incorporate this a little bit more, but we say grow your brand from A to Z. Well, we didn't tell you what our services are. We didn't say exactly how we're going to do it, but we are saying grow your brand. So somebody who has a brand, I'm a business owner, I'm going to see, oh, I can grow my brand. And it's like, oh, from A to Z, I have all of these options, but without us having to be like, hey, we do this, this, and this. Now, do we put those things on our website? Yes. Do we put those things on our social media? Yes. It's not saying that you can't ever post your services, but this messaging is a way to do it without having to post your services. Hopefully that all makes sense. I know that that's kind of a lot to do, but I think that would be fun maybe to go in the audience and think of some other people, and maybe we can walk through the framework with a few different people. I'm looking at you, photography. I think that will be a really great one. So you do, remind me again. Newborn and children photography. Okay, so who is our character? This is great. This is a really good one. Who is our main character in the situation? Moms. It's not the babies, it's moms. What is mom's problem? Can't get a cute picture of the baby. My baby is growing so fast, I have to remember what they look like right now. I just want to squeeze their faces forever, right? Like I want to put this moment in time. Like I have to be able to look back at this when they're ornery and a teenager. So I need to sell that message. Okay, so mom has a problem. She loves her baby so much, and I just want to hold her like this forever. Insert expert, our photography expert. You're going to come in and you say, hey, look at these beautiful photos. I can capture the smile of your child. I can capture their personality. And these are beautiful, well quality. We're going to get this to you, and you can remember that forever. But now you can't get that without taking an action. So the action would be call today, make an appointment, schedule a time. And then in the end, that success is we got these beautiful pictures. I get to look back at my baby at any time. I have these awesome pictures. Where in the other end, it helps them avoid a failure where, well, if I have no pictures of my kid, I'm just gonna have to remember that from memory. You know what, I could have took some pictures myself, that's fine. I'm taking pictures on my phone, but they're not as crisp. iPhones are great, but they do not do what she does. I am capturing a moment when I'm taking your pictures, whether it's with a family or if it's just an infant. Yes?
The thing about you're talking about is pictures of children is that you have to get them to agree to smile and be cheerful.
Yes.
And that's very hard to do.
That is a fantastic, fantastic point. This is why we do this, because you have all of these opinions and people are gonna help you kind of be creative in how you do this. So what your messaging could be is, actually I'm gonna let you guys do this. What do you think her messaging could be? I can get the smiles. Oh yeah, go.
You can use props, you can use animals, stuffed animals or something to get them to look at and get their attention to it, and then you're able to get them to smile.
Motivation.
Perfect. Creating memories. You can think of so many different ways to do this, and that is why the framework works really nice, because sometimes when you get started and you sit down and you look at your marketing, you're like, okay, how am I gonna market today? You got a blank piece of paper in front of you. I don't know where to start. Like I said, I've got an about us, I have great history, I did this because I love this product, I'm so passionate about what I do, but how do I say that? How do I get that out in front of people? And this is why this is so great, is because it gives you the framework so you can work through it. You figure out who your target audience is, you figure out why they need you, and in the end, everybody wins, right? Like that's the goal. I mean, sometimes there's a failure, especially when you watch movies, they're not always a great ending, but for the most part, if you're doing it correctly, you are going to get that conversion and you're gonna get these happy clients. So I'm gonna wrap it up here so you don't have to listen to me talk for too long. The final thing that you need to remember, your brand is not the hero. This is not about you. This is about your customer. Your customer is the most important thing. Without our customers, we don't have a brand. We don't have a business. We aren't making money. So you have to bring in your customer. And we're doing it in a way that's loyal. We're doing it in a way that teaches them that we are here for you. And we hope that you can take this messaging, apply it to your own, and we have seen how this works really, really well for so many people because we are creatures who love emotion. As much as you don't realize it, everything we do is driven by how we feel. And we want to make sure that our customers feel really good. So that's what I've got for you today.